What you telling me?
So, I want to talk about. There's a few things I want to talk about, yeah, but it's going to be quite. I think I want to start with the incident that happened in Mitcham yesterday, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is tied in with what I'm talking about in terms of the question, which is, you know, are we really controlled by algorithms, or is it literally just the way we think today as people in 2020? And the reason why I'm saying that is because obviously I know some of you lot may watch the Social Dilemma documentary on Netflix, yeah?
I still haven't seen it.
Oh,
Right.
you need to watch it. It's so good.
But I remember one of the
first red flag. That's something I didn't watch. I didn't do my research.
no, but it's cool because
Words of Gets, do your research.
there's certain things on there that you would kind of know based upon you just understanding that how things work in the world today. So, like, for example, even the opening quote was of the documentary was a bit kind of not scary, but it's like raw. Like, I think it was something on the lines of anything that happens vast in nature always comes with serious consequences. So it's kind of like saying, you know, you live the fast lane, you're going to end up whatever.
Yeah.
So looking at it, the way the whole documentary was set up, it was beautiful because you really got to, if you're someone that thinks, and I mean think literally because a lot of people don't think, if you think and you watch that documentary, you can openly see them taking responsibility for all the madness that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from? So there was even a guy from Reddit that was one of the like top directors or production managers or whatever on Reddit, yeah. And he's like, "Raw, I'm going home, and I'm just on Reddit." But I'm like, this doesn't make sense because I coded this. Like, I'm addicted to my own code, so I had to go home and rewrite my own code. So back to work, rewrite the code again, so I'm not addicted to it. But it's literally like I don't really have no. Anyway, there's a reason why.
Like the bloody sequel to Lawnmower Man. It's mad.
But the reason why I'm saying that, yeah, is to say this, yeah. There's certain things online that we see on a day-to-day basis on social media that triggers us, yeah, as black people. Now, I've been trying to stay triggerless for the last 6-7 months because obviously I've started to realize a change in my behavior. So I'll see something online, I end up getting mad, and sometimes I'm so angry I can't even post nothing because I'm in my head thinking, "Raw, how can someone do that?" So, for example, like yesterday, that was the first time in a long time that I got triggered. I was like, "Raw, like." I'm seeing a video of my man just grab this. All right, for those who don't know, let me explain to you. For those who don't know, yeah, the details right now are still a bit hazy, but this is just based upon social media because that's where the information is coming from. There was a video circulating of a guy, black guy in a gay tracksuit, tall, grabbing this. What appears to be a schoolgirl,
11-year-old.
11-year-old schoolgirl. So the news have got it wrong, or whoever's got it wrong. It's not a teenager. It's actually a minor. So he's grabbed her from behind, or he's followed her, grabbed her from behind, obviously tried to take her into this room. So, and even that clip of somebody filming it outside their window is a bit worrying
I
because
didn't see that one still.
yeah, there was a clip. It looked like a bird's. I don't know if it was someone filming from the window. I don't know if it was CCTV.
I only
but
saw the one with the girl confronting the
Right.
guy. That's the only video I saw.
so shout out to the girl. I can't remember her name. I think her name is
Shan 22.
Shan's 22. Yeah. Shout out to her because what you did was very brave, and I feel like, you know what, it shows that we can protect our own community if we really want to. You know what I'm saying? Because she went and called her sister, they followed my man, and obviously, from what I've seen on the video clip, it looks like they were able to prevent him from doing what he was doing, or was going to do to the girl, innit?
But the girl was saying that she made him. Sorry, he made her do stuff or whatever. from what I heard.
Sexual acts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
So you see what I'm trying to say? It's all hazy.
Yeah.
Like what happened? But obviously,
If that's what she
the point
said,
is he's trash, isn't it? Like,
yeah, he's
done what he
100%.
done.
He's trash. Now, I didn't even want to focus on why he did it because, again, if he was to focus on why he did it, I feel like it's a whole new conversation. We don't know what my man's mental state is. It doesn't justify nothing.
Bro, I don't care, fam.
It doesn't justify nothing. But for me, I want to focus today, obviously, on the aspect of community because on the internet now, you know the phrase the internet remains undefeated. Like, we was able to find my man within how many hours? I think it was probably about 6-7 hours when it was actually
People
circulating.
posting up addresses, but there was more than one address. There was different people posting different stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
Now watch that. What you just said there, there's an element of clout where people are posting things just to basically be the one to say, rah, we've got his address, or I know, you know ones there, like, I
But
do
then
feel,
you also get people that are just trolls in it, so they could have been throwing
Yeah.
up random
Right.
addresses for no reason.
and this is the problem now, back to the whole social dilemma kind of, documentary, and even the question itself about the algorithms. When I look at things like that, yeah, and I see things like that circulate, so that, alright, cool, that's probably more of an organic algorithm, because again, it was a video that got posted, and it was more kind of local time to us. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, yeah, when I look at, like, for example, the whole SARS thing, yeah, in Nigeria, when I look at what happened there, I was a bit confused at first, and I had to phone some of my Nigerian friends and say, "Rah, what's going on?" Because from what I can remember, this is not a brand new issue. Do you see where I'm coming from? This is the issue that's been going on for however long. And
Even like when they talked about Coney, remember that?
Coney, yeah.
Yeah.
We touched on that in our last podcast,
Yeah.
and she was like, her mum was like, "My man's been, he's been like,
It happened years ago.
happened years ago." And
It's been
the whole
happening.
the whole Coney 2012 campaign was there, and you had all these celebrities and all these photo ops and whatnot. So I'm there thinking to myself, right, like, I'm thinking,
Should have had a campaign called Tony. Tony Blair, I see you, fam.
but it's mad because it's like, raw. I'm looking at it.
Criminal.
I'm thinking to myself, who is really programming and controlling these algorithms to an extent where, like, someone is posting something that happened in Nigeria and SARS, yeah? Now, I'm not saying that we don't know what's going on, because obviously some people do, and most people have been on the ground and whatnot. But sometimes a man can post an old video,
Yep.
it will circulate, get people wound up for a particular reason.
Family WhatsApp group, some old article that's 5 years old.
Right. And I've learnt that a lot of things online, like, for example, there's a lot of stuff online, even like with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, where from this whole George Floyd thing, I'm consistently just seeing videos of people getting stopped by police, and the captions like, "Oh, white woman harasses man," or "Karen harasses." I'm thinking, you know what? How is that really helping, man? Because we know it goes on. No one's there, fam.
That's the thing. I think there's that split between the good and the evil, though, in terms of the use of the internet, and it is what you choose to then make of it, like what your purpose is for using it. So I feel like with the video that circulated yesterday with the girl Mitchum, I think that was good, because I think a lot of people,
Yeah.
I can't say a lot, I'm going to say a lot of people can be a bit slack when it comes to understanding the safety of a child and the risk that is out there for children. Now, I've worked in that area, so to me, it's not new. It's not something I'm uncanny to, but for some people, it's just not in their world. Do you get what I mean? So to think something like that could happen is like so outrageous, but it happens regularly. Do you get what I mean? This isn't one odd case. And I think just on that matter, one of the things that stuck out to me is everyone was like, protect your daughters, protect your nieces. Yes, protect them, but also protect your sons and your nephews, because they too get harassed sexually, and they also can't defend nor help themselves in those situations. If a grown adult can be violated in that same way, what do you think a child can do, whether it be a female or a male child? So that's one thing that I felt was missing. But again, I know that I kind of have the help of the fact that that's the area I work in, so I understand, I guess, the diversity and who this impacts and who it affects. So I feel like that circulating yesterday to me wasn't the worst thing, because I think it does need to come to people's attention. And I did respect the fact that the young girl's face was not shown.
Yeah.
But I'm also aware of the fact that she's getting older, and if she has any access to social media, that's something that's going to be replayed. Do you get what I mean? She could stumble across it, and that's her trauma, and that's her traumatic situation. So there's obviously the impact that can have on her. And I think with things like, for example, what's happening around the world, the pro to it is that, okay, we understand a bit more we're aware that these things are taking place and they're real. And I think, sometimes for people, even with like the killing of black men in America, those videos in particular, I think it helped understand how deep the situation was, because before people were recording these things, people just thought it was Tupac lyrics. Do you know what I mean? It's just what you say in a song. It's not really, is it that bad? Is it really happening? So the reality of seeing that is another thing. But then I think what people don't understand is how you're traumatized by just watching a video. and it still has that same impact on your body and on your biological self. It doesn't have no impact. You have these feelings and they have a negative impact on you.
Right. And sorry to cut you. I don't even mean to cut you, because what you're saying is so true. This is where I'm going with the whole algorithms thing, and algorithms. I don't know why I sounded mad, but yeah, algorithms and whatnot. Because when you sit there and think about it, yeah, you sit there, you think, right, hold on. On my time feed, I'm consistently seeing videos of black men getting shot by police or black women being shot by police or whatever. I'm consistently seeing videos of people twerking and whatnot. But then sometimes you think to yourself, well, I may have unfollowed all these different pages and whatnot because I don't want to tune into that. Like, why is that happening? And I do feel, in order, like, for example, the George Floyd stuff, that was definitely algorithms. I don't care what anyone says. I feel like what they did is they made sure that the video circulated so much in such a broad amount of channels that it got to the public limelight and obviously got to the news. But there's a load of things that happened after that didn't really get to that same kind of level. And I know a lot of people will say, oh yeah, because it was this, because it was that. And I'm like, yeah, but either way, whether it was in lockdown or not, I feel like it's peak with the algorithm thing, because we're not realizing what we're feeding the internet and what it's feeding back to us.
Just before you make, I'm so sorry. Just want to quickly make one quick point.
Yeah.
You know, the algorithms actually, they feed you what you read into. So if you're watching long videos of girls twerking, they're going to keep sending you videos of girls twerking. If you're watching videos to the end of people being killed, that is what they're going to keep feeding you. So you can change your algorithm.
When you click yes on the cookies, bro, it's thing. You know how many trainers get advertised on my timeline?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
The algorithm is the reason I've got so much sneakers right now.
That's
but, you know what? Let me take accountability. That's me. But I could just not buy it. But I keep seeing it.
That's true, yeah. But then I did an experiment. So I'll like today I was having a phone conversation, and I was saying to my brother, I was like, "Raw, like man's in this mad area, and it's like the houses over here look proper sick." You get me? He goes, "Oh, what's the area?" So I told him the area on the phone.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah.
He goes into Google and he types in the first two letters, and the area came up.
But you've got to remember, that's still based off of something you have put in. Your output has been an input into your phone as to why you're getting that back.
But the search is on his phone.
Yeah, because you're talking to him, so it's in your conversation.
Right, so it's recording, man, and it's so essentially you got to think to yourself, right? Like, because even in the documentary, in the Social Dilemma documentary, they kept showing those scenes of those boys and the three. You know, basically, it showed you the machine being programmed by those three men.
So like a little voodoo doll.
Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't even realize that the three men were all identical. I didn't realize that they're basically trying to say that's the machine, innit? But what I found fascinating was that you could see the growth of the hologram of the guy that they were following throughout the documentary. So in the documentary, there's like these reenactment scenes of normal families and social media and whatnot, innit? To show the effects. And there's this boy that's on his phone, he's downloading bare things on his phone, like information. It gets to a point where he gets to such a peak, like his mum's proper onto him, like, look, put the phone away and whatever. Then she makes a bet with him and says, look, put the phone away and for a week, and I think I'll pay for I think she offered to pay for something for him, whatever. He's like, all right, cool. So he put the phone away. Blood, the amount of withdrawals that he was having for not having that phone. When he got it back now, it's like they were showing you the connection between him and the algorithm. So the algorithm was like, oh, he's not posting nothing online. He hasn't done this. All right, cool. Send a notification to his friend.
Yeah.
You know, one's there, or send the girl that he likes. Send the girl he likes, or a friend, a recent post, whatever. And they realized he wasn't online. You see, the minute my man came back online, bruv, the algorithm started flooding him bare things, and he started look. Obviously, you could see in the documentary that he's downloaded all the information about the elections, the whole racism thing, they brought up Pizzagate as well, which I found quite ironic because, you know, the whole Pizzagate scandal, there's a lot of evidence to claim that parts of it is true. And in this one documentary, they bring it up to make it look like it's fake. That's the only thing they bring up. They don't bring up anything else or whatever. But anyway, we don't digress into Pizzagate. That's another podcast. But basically, it was like, he got to a point where he's just more in tune with it now, and he can't even let it go. He's on, he's going in bed. He's got his phone with him. Yeah. But what I found amazing, at the process of the algorithm, they've got like a hologram of my man in it. So every time they send him information, they can see a hologram of him and how he reacts. The hologram looked more and more like the boy as the journey went on with the communication with him and how that. So what they're trying to illustrate in the documentary is that like you become like the AI becomes you. Because essentially you're feeding into a personality, or you're feeding into a like I'm sitting there thinking,
Black Mirror for real.
this is Black. No, it's Black Mirror. It's Black Mirror.
One of the points as well that the guy made on there that was quite funny is when he says he made a point and he said you either go on your social media before or after you piss, or during your piss in the morning. He goes without fail. Yeah. Do you have people that sit on the toilet with their phone? So he's like, you either do it before.
I'm guilty, but I'll be in a toilet
during.
seat, bro. I'll bring my phone in. I'll be like, right, like.
Wait. 'Cause you said when man's going pee, and it's like, I'm not sure how you can go pee while on the phone.
Because if you're, let's say
are you doing this?
No,
but
let's say you're
girls
sitting
obviously
down.
sit down, innit? So.
Oh, see, you never said girl sitting down.
No,
No,
that's
but
what I
guys
thought.
sit down too. Guys can sit down. It's an option.
Man
You
don't
can
sit
sit
down.
down.
Man don't sit down when it's that.
But if you're doing
man them are
both,
sitting down when they're pissing,
if you're doing both
right,
and then you're sitting
yeah.
down, you're gonna likely be like this
I know.
on your phone.
Well,
That was the point he made, and he said you either check it
Shout out
before
my friend Big Nasty. Apparently, he writes his songs when he's on
on the toilet.
Yeah, I see the Easy Meals
and that's
interview
not
still.
this. He actually said that on. He said that on the video. So
Yeah, but a man like him, God, wait, he might have to. He might.
no, because that's the only. He said it. That's the only time he gets privacy because his life is busy and hectic. You get me? So
Yeah, it's mad.
I get it,
But
and it actually makes sense still.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. I feel like, and back to the SARS thing, it was like, all of a sudden, this whole thing is blown up, and I'm looking at all the people it's affecting, like, all the celebrities, all the
Well,
people.
not it's affecting, but they're finally posting about it.
Well, yeah, they're finally posting about it, and it's like, I'm like, raw. Even the celebrities are controlled by the algorithms.
Yeah, 100%.
Like they're fully controlled by this
Yeah.
thing. So
Well, the thing is, it's like even there's one TV show that I watch called Homeland.
yeah, I
And
watched
there
that.
was one
Yeah.
particular episode where they was talking about something like this, where they had like a room full of people working on computers, like making social media accounts to talk about specific subjects. So, like they're fake accounts, but they just make accounts to say whatever. So this person did it, they committed this crime, and blah blah blah. And in a way, when you get a certain group of people saying something, when you go to the comment section and they're speaking a certain way, like obviously you know what bots are. It's like, and literally watching it on Homeland, it made sense. I was like, okay. I mean, I always knew about that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just seeing it in that way presented in a TV show, it just let you know. And then that's another reason why sometimes you kind of have to do things with like feet to the ground for like going on for what's really happening. Like take Corona for example. There was a story about a young boy that died of Corona. Remember?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
a young Muslim boy.
yeah.
He just got a name. We never saw no picture.
Right.
He's in Brixton, and I'm not telling people where I live, but that's my ends, innit? Like I live in them, and like the mosque that they go, like I'm about, innit? No one ain't talking about this, and it's like they were saying it, and people was getting a bit, and I'm like, there's no pictures of this dude. One of my friends said, oh, my friend used to teach him at school, but that's the only person. But I never got no more info on that. So it's almost, in a way, I'm gonna keep it real. I think they was making it up.
Bro,
I'm just keeping.
No, you're right.
And then the news article I saw, it was like two white people talking, but there was like no one from the family
representing, the one from the Muslim community as well
and
to
So I just said, you know what? Take the internet out of it. Let me go by what I see outside. I'm in the real world. I'm here. Like the news can't make a news story about what's going on in my spare room. And have the world believe them. I'm in the yard, innit? Like, imagine a news article comes out saying, Wayne's got bed bugs in his spare room, and I'm in my spare room and there ain't no bed bug. What are you talking about, fam?
Yeah.
But the world will believe it. So sometimes you have to go by what's real, and I think because a lot of people, they don't leave their house, they're on the internet all the time. The kids are indoors, they're playing Fortnite or whatever it is they're playing. The women are at home watching Love and Hip Hop or whatever reality TV show it is. Man, I'm watching football. Like people ain't going out enough to know what's really
going on.
And that's why these distractions are set there, though.
Yeah,
It's
and
just a control factor.
Even down to what we were talking about previously about Jamaica. like some news article will come out and say, oh, there's been another shooting in Jamaica. And everyone's going, like, it's been happening for time anyway, but they exaggerate what's going on. And then it's like, or there's a storm or something. And they said, this is happening and blah, blah, blah. And I phoned my dad, I said, Dad, what's going on? I said, oh, you right? Oh, yeah, I'm just at the farm, just chilling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're making it sound like it's like some big madness that happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, my dad said, oh, I went out today, fed the chickens, did this, did that, went home, and cool. I'm watching the news now. And the same thing, my dad must have even been talking about the corona thing to me, saying, oh, you know, I'm hearing a lot about it in Jamaica, that, you know, people in England, everyone's getting it, and these numbers. I said, Dad, no one I know has died from this. No one I know, like, and the people that have died, they're friends of friends of friends, and they had underlying health conditions. But no one I know has actually, and I'm just going by the real. And I even said to my dad, I said, Dad, is there anyone with our last name that's got this? And then he told me that one of my uncles had it. So I phoned my uncle straight away. You know what it was? I said, so, Uncle, what happened? Because apparently he had it. And then, so how did you find out? Like, what did the doctor say? Oh, no, I phoned them and they told him the symptoms and they said, I've got it. So they said, I've got to isolate. So what, no doctor came to your yard? So we're just getting by hearsay.
Yeah.
And then my dad was all getting mad about it. And then, like, months went by and he said, so what, you still don't know? I said, Dad, no. I've been going work as normal.
And
like...
This see what you
and that's why I just kind of tapped out. I said, you know what, I'm like.
This is what I was saying with this whole coronavirus thing. I made a video about it the other day about people just getting scared of this new second lockdown. Yeah, and again, on topic of the algorithms and whatnot. Yeah, and obviously how basically it's how we're being controlled by these things. Yeah, they have never ever. I mean, unless it's like a different news channel or a separate interview. They have never, mainstream media have never spoke about the recovery rate on the coronavirus. They've never spoke about the amount of people that have recovered from the actual virus. I remember looking at the stats in May, yeah? And when did we do our pod? When we do, I think it was May or June. I looked at some of the stats on World Meter or whatever. And it was very interesting to find, yeah, that those that were listed as deaths, when you click on the actual website, because they got everything in color code, so when you click on deaths, there's 3 sections now. So there's actually dead, like died from the coronavirus. There's critical conditions, and it's life-threatening. But if you didn't click on that and you just saw 22,000 deaths or 300,000 deaths or whatever, you would assume that these people are all dead.
So basically, they're talking about the coronavirus the same way that bitter women talk about interracial dating and black athletes. That's what they're doing, isn't it? Like, let's just keep it 100, innit? You know the ones there when you know the ones there where a girl says, "Oh, all the black men in the NBA have got they've got white wives." I'm like, all right, cool. Name me the starting 5 for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You don't
It's
even
just
know
you just hear it.
NBA, but yet you know they've all got white women.
But and
it's the same with the corona thing. They're talking about it in a way that's just based on like a headline. It's not going by anything real.
And this is what I'm trying to say with the algorithms. It's like nowadays you don't even want to do the facts and check, because you're seeing something promoted online and you're saying, right, that must be truth. Like, for example, people tell me, oh, you got to wear the mask. You know, why haven't you got your mask on? I'm like, because it doesn't do anything. And they're like, yeah, but, you know, it stops you. Like, for example, if you was to sneeze, I said, as you're talking to me right now, hold your hand in front of your face. Can you feel your breath? Yeah. Because it basically doesn't stop you from, you know, spitting out any particles or whatnot.
If I cut a fart here, all of you lot are going to smell it. I'll say that now.
Please don't fart. You're just saying, but
I'm just saying, innit?
But
you're going to smell it. So the mask thing.
You know, and this is the thing. It's like, for me, it's like the algorithms have got so much power now that people are not even thinking for themselves, yeah. And they're now looking online and saying, "Raw." Like I'll get like people be like, "Oh, bro, have you seen what's going on in Nigeria?" Nah, fam, like we need to go and march and we need to go and protest. I'm like, bro,
I ain't marching.
What's going on in Nigeria? And they can't even tell me. All they can say is that, oh, protesters are being shot by police, and there's apparently the SARS undercover people. So I went and did some research on it, and I said to myself, wait, hold on, I remember hearing about this. Not SARS in terms of the actual terminology, which I also want to know and find out who names these things. Because it always comes from an internet source. It doesn't come from like a article or publishment from like a newspaper or whatever. It's always from an internet source. And this is what I've started to realize and said, right, like, you know what?
I think SARS was something like to do with the abbreviation of the police force, like their name in full. Because there was something special armed robbery unit.
Robbery unit, yeah, special armed robbery unit. But then again, for me, it's like, who named it SARS? Because in 1992, 1993, these men were established. And Sol would even tell you the amount of corruption you see with police in Nigeria and whatnot. So
that artist called Fela Kuti, I think.
Fela Kuti, yeah. Fela Kuti's an old school artist. Like he's from way back in the day. So anyway, my point is this year. Like, I'm looking at these, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm not even going to get triggered by what's going on until I've done my own actual research. So even yesterday when I saw that video
back to my girl.
Of my girl in Mitcham and whatnot, I mean, I was mad. I just said, you know what? I'm going to phone people that I know that are on the ground in Mitcham.
Same. And you know what's even mad? Because I got sent that video about 5 times. It was in a group chat. And I was just getting mad because people were talking about it. But everyone, it's almost like it was an opportunity to virtue signal. To start saying, oh, this is wrong. And yeah, we get that. No shit, Sherlock. Sorry, I swear. Like, it's wrong.
You swear.
You know, saying all these things. And it's like, all right, cool. Let's keep it basic. It's in Mitcham. Where, like, a lot of us are from South. Like, what's this dude's name? It took ages to even get the name out of the man them. Everyone was coming in talking, but no name. And then I was like, right, what ends is he from? Furthermore, where did that video even happen? And then I found out it was in Mitcham. And then they said the guy's name, and then they come with pictures. And I'll be honest with you, the picture I saw of him, like the proper picture from his Insta, it didn't really look too much like the guy that was in the rage. I'm just being
because
honest.
Basically what happened, what I see,
me?
and then again you see that as well, because someone sent me that video, someone tagged me in it. I was like, I can't even see my man's face. Have we got a name? Then I looked at another post later on that night, and there was a girl saying she couldn't get the picture right, so she used an app to try and reconfigure his face. So you know, if you look at his face,
or when you get up,
when you get a close up, it looked a bit kind of mad, like he was wearing a mask kind of thing. So I was thinking, what kind of madness is this? But I realized she used an app to do that. So, but the whole point is that like, we need to really be very careful on how man's getting information online.
Yeah, and also to the point, like, let's just keep it on a basic level. All the people posting the address and all that, I've got a question what your motives were for that, because it's like this passive thing where you can put out the man's address, and then I'm seeing certain man said, all these drillers, go and deal with him. I'm like, just a month ago you was cussing and complaining about drillers, but what now you think you're in solidarity with the drillers to do your work? Like, where they do that at, fam? Like, fam, like, it goes back to what my man said, disconnect. Because here you are thinking that these man them that you've been saying, oh, they make too much drill music and these drillers and blah 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 blah, but all of a sudden this happens and you think, no. Furthermore, if you know the dude and you got his address, you should have been at his house. Because I tell you right now, if any of my friends did that, I'm not, like, fam, if you're not going to, hypothetically speaking, if someone we knew did that, one of our friends, I'm not going to, here's my friend's address.
You're not going to give it up.
I'm going to go your yard.
Because your friend's going to come in with a story that you're not even, that he might come in and say, oh, they're all on to me, they try and say I did this, I did that, but I didn't do it. So you're going to be like, oh, that's my friend, I'm going to protect him first, beforehand. And you're not even going to think twice about putting his stuff online because you know already that you don't even want that to happen. Do you see where I'm coming from? So
the thing that I think as well that has to be remembered is, again, these algorithms feed you whatever you look into, and if you don't have that self-discipline or self-control to make those determinations between, and again, even you making that decision for yourself about what you choose to believe and what you choose not to believe, even that, it has its defects. Do you get what I mean? But it's like, the thing to remember is obviously, and I think it's the point that you're making, people need to do their research. And then again, it's how. And I think, like the point you made earlier, Wayne, about, you know, in terms of dealing with what you see, the reality is the access that we have to each other's lives at this point in, like, let's say this generation, isn't normal. Because years ago, and I'm not being funny, even years ago from watching the news was always telling some bad story. Like, it's not behaving any differently than it has before. But it's like, if you literally realize that, you know, you've got access to all these traumatic things, so even if you've never experienced trauma a day in your life that deep, you're watching it, and you're watching it over and over and over in all these places where all these things are happening and going on. It's like, that's an unrealistic amount to deal with, because when you walk out your house, what are you actually dealing with? Does your life look like that?